Hi, I'm Chuck Dorsett from Weaver Leather Supply, and this is the Leather Element. If you've got a good question for us or a good idea for a leather element, drop it in the comment box below. Also, if you want to know when our videos release, just click your notifications. You'll know exactly when these come out. We don't think about it, but we use a lot of lace on our projects. We've got a good video on the advantages of cutting our own lace, but how about some of the leathers that make good lace? What are we looking for? What are we not looking for? But let's do this. Let's start here because there are two leathers. It's just easier to buy this lace on a spool. Suede is one of my favorite leathers. It's inexpensive and we have got some beautiful colors. Here's the downside. Suede doesn't have a top grain. That's where our strength is. Now with one of our bends, we can absolutely cut lace out of that, but it's not going to be terribly strong. I may save that more for decorative purposes. But by the spool, this is processed a little bit differently, so we're going to have some relatively good strength on that. And the deer lace, I think that is my favorite lace leather. First off, gorgeous colors, but I love the Spanish basket weave. That's one of my favorite decorations, and that's the perfect lace for it. Now, this is a thinner leather, and it's a little bit stretchy, so that's going to be tough for us to cut by hand. It's not going to look consistent or clean. So on both of these, it's simply easier to buy these on the spool. I tend to use a lot of lace in my shop. I'll buy sides in basic colors, keep those just for lace. But for us leather crafters, that's just not economical. So there's a way around that. Let's do this. When we get a side of leather in, or a double shoulder or whatever, if it feels like it's going to make some good lace, let's take one, maybe 2 inches off the spine or the longest edge of that. Let's cut that into some lace. We'll set it aside, draw on it as we need to. Well, first off, probably not going to miss 1 or 2 inches. But what we are going to get is about 100 feet of lace that actually feels free. That's nice. All right, so what are we looking for in lace? Well, what are we going to use it for? Decorative, mid-level, say we're just going to lace maybe a pouch or purse or arm guards, or do we really need some strength? Well, let's start again with one of my favorite leathers. Now, in fact, the boss actually said, Chuck, they can't all be your favorite leathers. Yes, they can. Deertan cow, one of my favorite leathers. And I love this because it's supple. It drapes well or hangs well. In fact, not a sales pitch, well, sort of. But we have the pre-cut fringe in all 4 colors, but that's what I'm talking about. It hangs very well. Great for decorative. Or say we're going to lace together a small purse, pouch, or bag. This is the perfect leather. Now that's roughly about a 3/16 inch. It's got a little bit of stretch to it, but I can feel it. That's got some good strength, and it is perfect for the 4-strand braids. The Deertan cow was a 2 to 3 ounce. Now we're stepping it up to a 3 to 4 ounce. This is our Redrock leather. We've got this in 6 beautiful colors. And in fact, I keep the rust and the black in my shop simply for lace. But we've got a little more body to this. It's a little bit thicker. We've got a little more strength. Now, it's a pull-up leather. So when we cut lace from this and we stretch it, it's going to change color a little bit. Some more than others, but right there, not enough to worry about. And one more good point on this, another affordable leather for us crafters, okay? Let's step it up a weight. Let's step up to a 4 to 5 ounce. It's got a lot of strength to it. This is our Pioneer Chrome. We've got this in 3 colors. We've got our standard black, a pretty brown, and then our Dorsett. This is a good, sturdy leather for mid-level projects like arm guards. We're going to cinch something or holster loops. One great point about this, it's got enough body. We can actually lace this or strip this with our wooden strap cutter as long as we have a good sharp blade in that. But another good point here, we've got a nice tight grain on the flesh side. Here's where that's important. So right here, we did a project video on our shop apron. This is our cypress. I love this leather and it makes a good lace, but notice as we lace along, that leather gets fuzzier and fuzzier. And down to this point, it actually starts to draw in on the top grain. Well, that's not a terrible issue, but the point there is that this leather is going to cut a very clean, very finished looking lace. If we need some serious strength in our lace, we've got 2 excellent choices. This is our holster leather and our Latigo. In fact, the Latigo is so popular for lace, we sell that on the spool. Now, these are typically heavier weight leathers, 8, 9, 9, 10. Great thing about Weaver, we've got both of these in a 6 to 7 ounce, lighter weight leather, and to me, that makes a perfect lace. Now let's do a little math here, because I mentioned when I get a piece of leather in my shop that's going to make good lace, I'm going to take a 1 inch or a 2 inch piece off the longest side of the spine. All right, so this is a side. I'm going to take off 1 inch by 8 feet. That's only 2/3 of a square foot of leather. If we take that strap and we lace that down into 1/8 of an inch, we now have 64 feet of leather. I'm not going to miss an inch. That's incredibly cheap lace. And now I have a straight edge to work from. Another great point on these two leathers, we can lace these out with our wooden strap cutter. Very nice. We have so many beautiful leathers at Weaver, it's hard to boil it down to just these few, but most are going to make a great lace. Now, as we've seen, when we cut our own, we pick the thickness, the width, the color, the texture, and we do it all very inexpensively. Now, there's two leathers we didn't go into. Rawhide, that's an animal all to itself. But veg tan, can we make great lace out of veg tan? Actually, our holster leather is a veg tan, but we can take a natural, we can dye that any color we want. Now, it's going to be stiff to start with, but with a little use, that is going to soften up nicely. I hope this is good information for you. Thanks for taking time to watch The Leather Element. Good luck with your projects.